Hello and welcome to Blueprints Behind Business. I'm your host, Brad Douglas, and today I'm joined by David Carson with CareGlider. David, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
Well, wonderful. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about CareGlider, and if you would, for the community, give us a little background about yourself and the company.
Okay, well, I am a serial innovator. I've been in product development for my entire career, almost 30 years now. So I've been a contract developer, startup entrepreneur, and I've successfully completed over 600 projects across many disciplines, including aerospace, medical, consumer goods. Sparked a lot of revenue for others, a little bit for myself along the way, and I've invested in this new project called CareGlider, and it is a power mobility product that serves the caregiver community. In that it is the innovation is very it's an electric powered mobility product that responds to an urgent need. Introduced to me by an injured caregiver.
Mm.
So this we again found an urgent need, and I've been working on it for several years now, and we're staged to launch it and help people across the world. Apparently, there's a lot of people that get injured transporting loved ones, patients in transport chairs, and nobody's really come up with one that's driven by the person that's pushing. So that's our secret sauce to this product.
Very, very interesting. What a great solution that I know many probably need out there in the world. So uh, great to learn more about it. Now, 30 years background experience, starting different things, developing things. What was the main point or real big driver for you here to kind of start your own thing here?
Well, I grew up with a very gifted father who was in I could call it development, and
Mm.
he introduced me to the world of machining and tooling and making things right out of his mind. I was just always amazed and grew up kind of under his wing through machine shop as a young kid, sweeping up the chips to working on the machines through my adolescence. I went to school, got a tech degree in drafting. That's the extent of my formal. I'd say, I've done a lot of other follow-up programs after that, but I wasn't really much of a classroom person. I was hands-on, but I didn't also like to work for people. I always, I kind of had the leader gene in me as well. But always like the creative aspect. Again, always, being able to just think up something and here it is. So I built my living doing that. The home I'm sitting in was one of my first house plan projects over 30 years ago. And it's
Fantastic.
still here in the room that was on the floor plan as office.
Nice.
So yeah, but the spark, I grew frustrated, working earlier in organizations where the leadership would not lead me where I wanted to go. So
Mm.
the only way around that is to lead yourself.
Mhm.
So I started my first businesses in the late 90s, and then I began helping others along the way, and that's where the learning really came in. Was fulfilling the needs for others, really. People come with their idea, and I'm like, well, do you know how to start a business? And
Mhm.
they're like, no. Well, we need to work on that.
Mhm.
So that gets into my own background too, because the first thing when I started my first business is I read a book, and I noticed a lot of people might avoid, getting educated, or, oh, I'm going to start a company. But there's two things to that is it's not simple, but it's not impossible.
Mm.
So when people want to venture out into entrepreneurship, there's a warning. It's not simple, but there's also inspiration. It's not impossible if you put your mind to it and have essentially the key there is the vision.
Mm.
right? The vision. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing that for people. They have a vision, and I, as a contract design firm, uh, here's your widget. Here's your. I have literally a lot of them just scattered around here that started from an idea, a block of clay. Uh, Here's a firearm security box that was that's RFID. It's hands free. It opens.
Got it.
It all started from an opportunity, an
Hmm.
idea, and that particular product is made millions in dollars around the world. A whole product line expanded from that, and it was all just from someone's idea. So it's very exciting to be part of this, but
Hmm.
here to share some thoughts to help others who are thinking about launching their own business or becoming jumping into the entrepreneurial world. Hey, you got to do it both feet. You got to commit, and you 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 have to let's see where can I go from here. Again, that focus on the vision, the end goal. That's what we do. Repeat the end goal. So you apply that towards your life. You That's really where entrepreneurship should start. Is what's missing? What do I want? And sit down and take the time to think about that.
Hmm.
Go in a quiet place for as long as it takes, and then write it down. And you got to write it down. And this is all the famous Jim Rohn teaching. This is ancient scripture knowledge that is just basically repeated. And it works. It absolutely, it's the only way, actually. There's no other way. You have to have a goal and you figure out you'll get there, but without that goal, you're just a lost ship, right? Um,
Gotta write the
so
goals down for sure. Great,
yeah.
great advice there on getting started, jump in, both feet first, find your passion, find that vision, hold on to it. Cause like you say, it's not easy in the beginning. But some resilience there and keep moving. Great, great advice. So, you've been able to be a part of a lot of different projects and of course your own business. Is there any kind of misconceptions that are out there and how do you potentially address those?
The misconceptions again would be that it's easy.
Mm.
Definitely not easy. So you got to arm yourself. You got to become strong. You got to become mentally strong, and I'd add physically to that too. I'm a martial arts. I'm a black belt. I'm active. I'm 58 years old. I can run 8 miles in 40 minutes or no, a little more than that. Maybe an hour it takes me now. But I stay fit, I stay focused. That helps
Mhm.
me. A lot of the projects are tough sometimes, all-nighters, or you got to do what you have to do. And then the mental aspect, obviously, getting smart, getting ahead of the competition, continually. This is a muscle here too. And that's what you always have to work on that. You can't become superstar, just focus. You got to keep it balanced. You got
Mhm.
to keep all the tools sharp. And really one of my biggest I guess not obstacles, but one of the things I bring it up now as well is study business. You're
Mhm.
becoming an entrepreneur. Learn from great entrepreneurs. You don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. Pick up books and learn from, countless leaders, countless entrepreneurs. They gladly share their experiences with you and show you, the breadcrumbs, the path, the disciplines to put into your life, and then you got to do it. Right? There's where
Right.
people fall short. Read a book, set it down, forget about it. No, you got to put it into action.
Mhm.
Then you got to write your own script. You got to write your own, how do you apply that towards your goals? And a tidbit there too is you got to compartmentalize. Women are great because they can. My wife, she could watch TV, read a book, and do a crossword puzzle at the same time. Me, no.
No.
One thing at a time for David.
Mhm.
And so compartmentalizing your life goals. Do I want to
Mhm.
have a family? Do I want to have a good relationship with my wife? Do I want to have a good relationship with my kids? Do I want to go places? Do I want to drive a nice car? What's that look like? What's the house? We got to get it all here again before it can happen. I'm meandering. Keep me on
No,
track, right?
no, it's perfect. I mean, these are all things that go into it. It's not just starting a business and hey, I'm going to go do these things. It's keeping yourself healthy. It's keeping your vision at top of mind. Really blocking that time to make sure that you're successful, and focusing on the right things. To your point, there's no way I can do those three or four things in my mind. Focus, for me is critical. You've already shared some great lessons there, but in talking about others and learning from others and other entrepreneurs, I found that other small mid-sized businesses and even people who've led very, very large organizations are happy to support you and to talk to you. I think a lot of times we get scared, like, oh, I can't reach out to them, or I can't learn from them, or don't want to bother them. But most people really want you to succeed. So take those opportunities. So if you think about that early on for you, what was maybe a really valuable lesson or a piece of advice that you wished you would have had in the beginning?
That you can do it.
Mm,
A lot of people grow up in a family, or their parents, whoever. A lot of people bring you down in your upbringing, so you got to break through that mentally. You really have to have that faith and confidence in yourself as a solo life in the universe. And once you're out of the womb, it's all you, really.
mm,
So you get to decide
mhm,
completely. It's completely your destiny. And then surrounding yourself with positive people, and get instilling the positive element of you can do it, and then prove that to yourself, right? Prove
mhm,
that to yourself. At the end of the day, you're feeling beat up and down, oh man, I just got beat up. I just, always reflect back on the positive, the accomplishments of that day. I always find myself at that place. In just about, not just about, I mean, every single project I've ever worked on, you come to that spot, you're just like, ah,
mm,
can I go further?
mm.
And man, I hate giving up, of course, and I really rarely ever do. And sometimes it's to my detriment if I'm on the wrong path and I continue. I'll get beat up, but I'll get up again and I'll learn a lot from that experience. But and just back to speak to another point you made, people are happy to help you.
Mhm,
I am surrounded with wonderful coaches at this very moment that are helping me get to the next level of my career goals, which is this product line that I think is going to really help a lot of people in the world. And that's my goal. I've discovered along the way all these ideas that have come in and all the capabilities we get design. I literally can design, build, and produce just about anything anybody throws at me. Do I want to? I want to be selective. Do I want to hurt people? No.
mhm,
I'm a martial arts black belt. The first thing you learn, and that's only the beginning. Like when you're a black belt's not a big deal really, but it's they say that when you become a black belt, you begin to be aware of what you don't know,
mhm.
right? You find you become your weaknesses, and then you become a master. I decided I didn't decide to pursue martial arts after I just I practice it. I stay where I'm at, but I'm applying what I learned to my career, to my life. I take all those disciplines. I can still sit down and I can do 100 push-ups right now. I can do full split. I didn't neglect it. I kept on. I reached a point, and it's always easier to maintain than it is to start from scratch, right? And you can start at any time. You can start from scratch. But then I found my other pursuits. But I'm meandering again. But I'll get back to the projects I select. I like to have a positive impact on the planet and others, and see that the look in their eyes when, wow, this is something. This is really helping me. That firearm box, keeping kids safe, keeping guns.
Exactly.
Oh, I got a better place to put my gun than in my nightstand. I got to put it in this lock box that my kids aren't going to get to.
Mhm,
So maybe save a couple lives here and there. And
mhm.
then other medical devices I've been involved in. So I've really enjoyed that category the most. But the variety is kind of fun too.
Sure. No, some really great points there. And, one thing that you focused on was, creating that commitment to something to not go too deep, but to master it to an extent, before you jump onto something else. Sometimes we can get too many things going at once, and we're just good enough to get by on those, but we're not experts at that point in time. But no, I love the comments, and definitely anything that's helping others is a fantastic place to be. So, if you think about, you've developed a lot of different things. Business is changing constantly. We've got a lot of different ways to be innovative, but how do you stay innovative?
I listen to the market. I listen and become aware. Become, competitive space. Yeah, I'm right smack dab in a very competitive space with this particular project, right?
Hmm.
How many wheelchairs are there on the planet? There's a lot.
Hmm.
What makes ours different? Well, we've done something that's different. I'll give you my little pitch, right? Just at this in this note at the moment. Our product overcomes a weight limitation barrier that's hindered market growth for decades and includes a transformative caregiver drive control that provides effortless propulsion for the caregiver and an optional rider control that can be used to removed. It can be used or removed in accordance to the rider's cognitive ability. So we found a niche. We found a niche.
Hmm.
There's people who cannot operate a powered wheelchair. Those would include people with Parkinson's
Hmm.
disease, other cognitive issues, Alzheimer's,
Hmm.
obviously a big one, and that population is actually growing alarmingly,
Hmm.
urgently in the world, but our country as well. Modern societies tend to become a little less active, and so we're seeing that. But we found our niche, and to focus on that niche in our competitive manner will
Hmm.
be, and I'm letting all the secrets out of my bag here, right? Will be to focus on those who it'll serve the most, those people who
Hmm.
cannot operate a powered device, will need a caregiver. The caregiver society, the people, they are the warriors in my opinion, of the planet. There's a saying, that is, everybody, there's only four types of people in the world. Those that are caregivers, those who are going to be caregivers, those that have been caregivers, and those that are going to need a caregiver. So
Hmm.
that's a pretty big market, right? That's our market research. Okay, it's pretty much everybody.
Sure.
And then, to really help people, back to one of my martial arts mantras, always up on the wall. One of them, these are very helpful, actually. They shaped my destiny in many ways. There was
Hmm.
two of them at my most recent school I attended. One was a term, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's South Korean because I studied Taekwondo. Ilkapilsai. It means one shot, knockdown, one shot, knockout, one shot, kill. Do it, get it done, move on.
Hmm.
So then that's the follow through, right? And all the
Hmm.
focus that goes into just that, just to deliver it, focus, energy, right?
Hmm.
And then the other was always stand by the weak, always stand by the weak. That's something that's so overlooked today. I see.
Hmm.
When was the last time, helping the old lady across the street?
Right.
Where'd that go? Everybody's, spinning around a little overstimulated, and we were, I'm not speaking for everybody on the planet, but the me.
Sure.
Well, when you reach a point in your life, make it about others if you can,
Hmm.
do it sooner than later. And that's the most rewarding life that I've, discovered. And I'll tell you this particular project, how it has impacted our beta testers brings tears to my eyes. These people
Hmm.
they're stuck inside, they have a loved one that they can't move, they can't take them outside, and they have to in the Alzheimer dementia scenario, they can't leave their side. So
Mhm.
this caregiver is either, they have to pick them up and, walk them out. Tremendous amount of injuries that people sustain with that scenario. And I saw it firsthand. Last year was our beta test year. And the just the ability to help these people is really motivating me more than anything, as it should. But if I didn't care, I wouldn't have, built a product that's called Care Glider. And I'm super excited for the next steps here. Again, I've surrounded myself with a really great team that it's teaching me and tuning me up every day. And you can see I'm still working on my pitch there. Terrible, terrible.
Oh, no. Hey, you're in something that you care about, and that's what's going to make it successful, and you care about people, which is fantastic. It kind of helps me to move into the next question, without sharing too much. Can you give us a glance into your future plans here and goals for the business?
We have two scenarios in motion. One, we're going to let them play out a little bit.
Hmm.
So one is more of a grassroots sort of launch where we build X amount of units and we launch out of the state of Florida, which is where I am. So I can kind of keep my eye on things. That's the I guess smaller ball plan. I ideally what the other plan is to do a global launch right away with the support of a larger brand that's in the space that has distribution globally,
Hmm.
or we'll be right into 5,000 distribution network, globally. We have all our patents that cover it in the different countries and everything, so we're good there. So that's where I'm leaning, and hopefully we get there. I mean, we need a little ramp, little ramp up to get there. We
Hmm.
can't be, creating hundreds of thousands of these overnight. But I see within the next 9 months or so, we should have the first lots hitting the ground. All goes well in 9 to 12 months. I'm hopeful. So, more of a 2025 thing. And we're going to offer four different models that one of the greatest things that I overlooked speaking about was the modular aspect of this. So what the other unique thing we've done is we're removing the weight. There's all the other products have two motors attached to the chair frame,
Hmm.
which makes it nearly impossible for a lot of people to lift. And the market, so I've been watching the market very carefully. I know the players, I've been watching the products, know your competition, right?
Hmm.
They're all going for the race to be the lightest
Yeah.
in the industry. They understand people are getting injured lifting these heavy devices. But what we've done is we've separated, as you see behind me, the motor and battery are in that module. It weighs 16 pounds. That module weighs 16 pounds. And it drops on the chair. The chair, we're using a lightweight but sturdy chair,
Hmm.
one of the most lightweight aluminum aerospace materials. So you have a lightweight chair that's stable. It's not a piece of spaghetti like the competition is coming out with, because their motors are still attached. They're putting the motors in the wheels. They think that's going to help, but then those wheels still weigh as much as a
Right.
motor.
Hmm.
So they're not getting away from that weight. So we've overcome this weight barrier with the product, and we believe that's going to be a competitive advantage in the space. But back to the launch, we've through listening to the market and our beta testing, we've realized that there's different needs and there's different stages, and a lot of people are forced to transition from one type of wheelchair to another type of wheelchair as a condition progresses or they get older. So we have a very simple four product line that really addresses a transitional phase with the caregiver always able to have a real vehicle they can drive with not a joystick, not a herky jerky joystick. This thing, you basically you squeeze the trigger and you aim it and you go. and it'll actually pull you. We have a trailer I put on it.
Oh,
I'm beta testing that right now, where I have it pulling me, because a lot of people don't understand. They see this and they're like, "Oh, it's just another wheelchair." Are you pushing it? No, I'm not pushing it. Oh, I didn't realize you weren't pushing it. Wow, that's really special. But they see it, and their minds are programmed to see that, their minds think you're pushing it. I put rollerblades on at events and I have it pull me. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's just, you're pushing it, right?" And I'm like, "No." So that's the challenge with the messaging I'm up against right now. That's the major challenge, to reprogram people to understand, oh, this guy isn't pushing it. But back to the launch is that having those four items is actually going to help pull market share and consolidate the space.
mhm,
That's the plan. Consolidate, because more people can use this modular unit. You can put this module on four different types of devices,
mhm,
and those devices will do just about everything any other powered wheelchair can
mhm.
do, or transport chair can do. So I think it's going to be big. It's going to be big. You're going to see. It's going to be, everyone's going to see.
I for sure wish you all the success in this situation, and helping all those many, many people. So I'm sure it's going to be a success. So to kind of wrap it up here, one final piece of advice that you could give aspiring entrepreneurs, and to close this out.
Ah, back to having that goal and writing it down. Boom,
Right.
boom. Make a goal and write it
Mhm,
down, and then repeat the process. You
mhm,
have to repeat it. Get over that accomplishment, get addicted to the accomplishment.
mhm,
If I don't accomplish in a day, if I'm not sore, either my brain isn't sore or my body isn't sore, I don't feel like I got enough out of that day. And we only have so many days. I actually have an app on my watch. I just
mhm,
targeted a day. I like when I'm however old, and I watch it count down how many days I have. All goes good. And that reminds me that every day you need to make the most out of every day, make it matter. And you have a bad day, you learn from it. I
mhm,
that you learn from the mistakes. Something falls and breaks. Every time I'm always looking for something. I see something. It just happened to me today. Someone fell on the floor, and I went. I'm like, oh, I gotta go pick it up. A little mess happened, and then I'm like looking under the desk or whatever. I'm like, oh, I just found something I thought I lost. Oh, there. So there's always something good tied into
mhm.
something bad. I always look for that, and that helps me a lot.
Fantastic advice. David, it's been a great conversation. Really enjoyed it. I know the product's going to help a lot of people. I really appreciate you joining us today. And for all those out there watching, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you soon.